10 most protected people in the world. Some of the most important and influential individuals in the world spend millions of dollars yearly on their security. These people are stripped of the basic luxuries in life. For example, while you may easily walk into a cafe to grab your regular coffee, these people have to liaise with a whole security team to guard them in public. Stick around until the end to watch the most protected men in the world. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and tap the subscription button. Here is the full list of the most protected individuals on Earth. Number 10. Kim Jong-un. It was only recently that the world became extremely fascinated with the security of the supreme leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. There was a video of his security detail running along with his fully armored limousine on the way to the venue. They must be on a really good payroll as they ran with the car all the way from the airport. After the video went viral, people got curious and decided to snoop and find out more about him. What they discovered was beyond shocking. Apparently, the man has a security team of about 100,000 men who report directly to him. This unit is known as the Supreme Guard Command. He always has hundreds of men surrounding him, but you would never be able to identify them as they are always camouflaged in the background. This team is not only used to protect him, but also as a propaganda tool. He uses it slowly to also protect his regime, spread out messages, and identify anyone who violates his dictatorship. With all that going on in North Korea, he probably needs all the security detail available. I can only guess how much assassination paranoia he goes through on a daily. Number 9. Queen Elizabeth. She has had one of the most remarkable careers so far. She is the first monarch in the UK to celebrate Sapphire Jubilee, which marks 65 years of reign. If she is still standing in 2022, she will be the first ever to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee, marking 70 years. She also happens to be the most popular person in the UK and is also well known around the world. I mean, who doesn't know the Queen? All this fame and power comes with a price to pay. Every year, about 100 million British pounds is spent to provide round-the-clock security to her and the other 21 members of their family. This security detail includes multiple units. First, there is the Royal Guard, the cavalry and infantry that stand around their residences. There are foot guards who patrol the grounds of the residences. The soldiers who wear red tunics and tall bearskins, which you've probably seen. Finally, there are FA agents, Marines, and Navy fleets who occasionally replace the Royal Guard depending on the tasks or their travel method of the royal family. Number 8. Pope Francis. Pope Francis is the Bishop of Rome and also acts as the ex officio leader of the whole world. Just like presidents, kings, and queens, he too needs a tight and reliable security team. Vatican City is easily one of the most armored places in the world. This is where the Pope resides if you didn't already know. If you have been there or watched any clip showing the streets of the city, then you have probably seen the stoic guards who roam the place dressed in antique armor and outdated spears. While you might think it's Halloween or a costume party in the city, these guards are actually high-end military force trained to subdue threats in seconds. So don't try to walk up to any of them. Most of them are ex-Swiss soldiers with the highest level of security training. You don't want to mess with these guys. The Swiss Guard has existed for more than 500 years, making it the longest-standing military. It was founded in 1506 by Pope Julius II. Who better to protect one of the most important people in the world than an army that has existed for centuries? Aside from security in his hometown, the Pope travels with heavy military personnel and superior trained bodyguards. A single trip to the US would have the church cough up more than 50 million at a go. Number 7. Vladimir Lenin. Did you know that you don't have to be alive to be valuable enough for extra protection? Most of you will be surprised to find out that some dead people are still heavily guarded. In Moscow, Russia, right at the heart of the Red Square, lies the mausoleum of former Soviet leader Vladimir Lenin. Since 1924, when he passed, his body has been preserved for the public to view. Just to show how important he is to the country, an honor guard is always watching over the body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These soldiers believe this body is the most important thing in Russia and will guard it with their lives. The unit of the government that is responsible for this is the military order that forms part of the Russian Federal Protection Service. Not every country in the world embodies corpses, but to the Soviet Union, the body of Lenin forms part of the country's heritage. Number 6. Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the most successful CEOs in history. It is estimated that at least 60% of all human population in the world above the age of 12 has interacted with Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram. This could only mean one thing: ka-ching. More and more dollars in Mark's pockets. With a billion-dollar empire, it's only reasonable that he has a $1 million security team. It is reported that since 2015, Mark has spent about $20 million on his security team, with almost half of that going to his personal bodyguards. These guards are often referred to as the Zuckerberg Secret Police. It is also rumored that the team consists of 16 full-time guards who work in shifts 24/7. An additional $2.3 million was spent on Facebook's COO as compensation for his personal security program. This amount is a record compared to other security costs compensated to the CEOs of other large corporations. With the constant accusations of the company's practices that acquire massive amounts of personal information from its users and selling the info to the highest bidders, Mark Zuckerberg clearly needs intense security. Number 5. JayZ and Beyonce. JayZ and Beyonce are the power couple. Together, they are the richest couple in the music industry. They have all sorts of fans from all over the world, including some crazy ones. At one time, one fan managed to get on stage and yank Beyonce to the floor. I bet someone got fired. It was right after this incident that JayZ ramped up the security team with millions of dollars. He hired 5 new personal security guards who were all former intelligence officers to accompany the already existing guards. The couple also bought 2 bomb-proof SUVs, similar to those used by President Barack Obama. With their personal security check, the couple is currently building a security compound in Los Angeles worth about $88 million. As if that's not enough, their kids have personal security guards worth $1 million. While it might seem like a lot of money, with a combined net worth of $1.35 billion, which is growing every other year, this is nothing but a basic expense. Number 4. El Chapo. There are so many well-known names behind prison walls, and yet with all that notoriety, no other prisoner is more heavily protected than Mr. Joaquin Guzman, the Sinaloa cartel drug lord whom the world knows as El Chapo. El Chapo has been arrested several times and has always managed to escape his confinement. But ever since he was arrested again in 2016 and extradited to the United States, where he now resides in 10 South Prison, Manhattan, New York, the drug lord is under watch 24 hours a day by armed guards who also have armed guards watching over them. He also has to sleep in a different cell each night, and the dogs who help guard him also have to taste his food in case of poisonings. Mr. Guzman has even complained about his conditions in the 10 South Prison, such as being locked in his cell for 23 hours a day, except for lawyer and court visits, and has been denied any outside contact with his family and the media. He certainly has become an advocate for prison reform, but should this serial prison escapee who was accused of killing thousands during Mexico's bloody drug wars and has proven history of killing his enemies even while under lock and key really claiming any sort of moral high ground? Number 3. Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump is a real estate billionaire and currently the President of the United States of America. His net worth is about $3.1 billion. Of course, as president, he has to have the best security detail. This comes with a hefty price tag. Just a few years back, when Barack Obama was president, his security team cost an estimated $16 million yearly. However, President Donald Trump, within the first 10 weeks of being in power, had already spent $29 million in security expenditure. No wonder his security team was listed as the most expensive. The US Congress recently passed a budget plan that entailed the president's security detail would cost an unbelievable $120 million a year. This is almost the total amount President Barack Obama spent for security throughout his 8 years in power. This absurd increase in costs was due to the fact that Trump travels a lot between the White House and his estates. Also, his immediate family does not lie in the White House. Number 2. Vladimir Putin. All political figures in Russia are protected by the state's Federal Protective Service. However, some go the extra mile to acquire additional security. One of them has to be Vladimir Putin. His security detail is an entirely different bundle. There's very little information on its operations, and there are no reports in the public. Very little is known about the workings of Putin's arm in the protection service. This arm is so secretive that only assumptions can be made. Putin himself is a very controversial public figure, so it's not surprising that his security detail is unusual. He first became the center of media attention when he was selected as the first acting president. He started growing a personality cult around him, and the media was only a vehicle that boosted his popularity. Despite there not being huge monuments of him, he is an internet sensation. Only a while back, all headlines had either his name or Donald Trump's. All this fame has kept him within the public's realm, often something that comes with a rather high price tag. His populist view is highly polarized due to the financial and political corruption of his cabinet, resulting in endless protests and assassination attempts. As a result, Putin had no choice but to ramp up his security. His team is estimated to cost him about $20 million a year. Number 1. The most protected girl in the world. Now, the next most protected individual on our list is not the typical political figure or high net worth persona. Also, the security detail involved doesn't have guns, armory, and isn't even trained to combat attacks. For this reason, this unique case makes it to our top list for the most protected people in the world. In Addis Ababa, a 12-year-old went missing for a week after she was abducted by 7 men who tried to make her a wife. The family went searching and finally found her being heavily guarded. 3 lions surrounded her and seemed to have chased off the men. The people who found her said the lions calmly left her side with zero confrontation when they realized she was now safe. This happens to be one of the most heartwarming and noble protections ever recorded in history. I hope the 7 men got a taste of their own medicine.